It is that time once again. Transfer portal season. It is here, Jeff. It's time to have a good time. What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? Nathan and Jeff here. We are your Heel Brothers. And it's now 2026. Hopefully you guys had a great, happy, brand new year. 2026 is here. And that brings chaos. It brings all the chaos in the world because the transfer portal window is now open. Jeff, January 2nd to, I think it's 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
The portal window is open. And now that means that we get to have all these super fun news and all these transfer and commitments and figuring out who in the heck's going where and all this good jazz. And North Carolina got themselves a brand new commit. First commit of the transfer portal season this year is a quarterback. Jeff, early thoughts on our brand new quarterback here. He is a transfer from Wisconsin, Billy Edwards Jr. He's originally started out at Wake Forest. Then he went to Maryland, and then he left from Maryland to go to Wisconsin in hopes of becoming a pro quarterback. Unfortunately, got hurt and finds himself in Chapel Hill. What's your thoughts on old Billy here? Billy getting Billy.
In a word, skeptical.
Yeah.
I admittedly have not watched tape. I know we talked a couple of weeks ago when the Petrino stuff came out and how that still hasn't been officially announced, but from what I've heard, he is in Chapel Hill. Mm-hmm. He is working. And so, I mean, like I said, it hasn't been officially announced still by the university, but everything I've heard, he's actually in the building. He's working.
Per Inside Carolina and also Tar Heel 24/7, Bobby Petrino is here on campus, and this was a guy Petrino identified and went after.
Well, and that's okay. And that's the thing. I had a conversation with a friend of mine today where we were talking about it, and I said the same thing. I said, I don't know. I'm iffy. I mean, I don't see anything in his stats. If you're looking at stats, and I don't see anything in that. But my cause for pause on my skepticism is Petrino's track record, and he has made his living doing well with what he has to work with. I don't see him being the kind of issue we had with Kitchens and beating the dead horse with Kitchens again because he's gone, but square peg, round hole, all that stuff like that. I think
it's legit problem.
I'm skeptical, but if that's what he, if Petrino likes it and Petrino thinks he can work with it, his history doesn't give me any reason to say, oh, dude, what are you doing? I mean, it's just he's done there. I mean, he's been there, he's done that, he's done it with a lot of people. So what do I know? Prove me wrong.
No, I'm 100% with you there. And I want to take a look really quickly at Billy Edwards and his time. He committed in 2022. I believe that he originally had committed to Wake Forest, if I saw correctly. Did not end up there, ended up, I think he flipped his commit to Maryland and played there since 2022. So this would technically be his fifth season in college football. The last season was supposed to be his last season, but he got injured early, and I think he only got to play, I think something a total of like 16 snaps. It was something it had a PCL injury. So he unfortunately didn't get to do anything at Wisconsin this year, but at Maryland, he played. Now he was playing behind a quarterback, pretty good one in Malik Washington. He was a name that people had to kind of look out for during that time, and Malik did really, really well there at Maryland. But once Malik was gone, Mr. Billy Edwards took over for Maryland, and in that one season, he did honestly pretty doggone good, and that was in 2024. So that was the last season of Mac Brown for everybody that's keeping count. He threw 207. He completed 273 passes on 420 attempts. completing 65% of his passes, threw for 2,881 yards, averaging 6.9 there as well, and was sacked 17 times. He was not playing with a very good offensive line at all. Something kind of similar that we've saw at North Carolina. It was more esque of like the first year Drake May, last season of Sam Howell-esque bad of offensive lines. But taking a look a little bit at his film, there is some things that I want to talk about because, quite frankly, this was not a splash hire. This is not a splash signing, if you will. We have to call them signings now because people are getting re-signed onto the team like Jaden Patterson and Caleb Cost, and so we have to call them signings now. So this wasn't a splash one, but I think from the outside looking in, it wasn't a splash one. But I'm going to tell you something. I watched a little bit of his film just a little bit ago as we prepared for this. And you look at this guy play. Number one, he understands his checkdowns. He sees the field. That is the first thing I wanted to look at is, can this quarterback see the blessed field? 100% he can. And he understands his checkdowns. Another thing.
Because we didn't see that happen this year.
At all until Max Johnson came in. And you could see a guy that would actually, you could visibly see him making his reads. Great.
Right.
Experienced guy. A guy that looks like a guy who could play in the ACC or a Power 4 conference. That's another thing that I was actually listening to the podcast, and shout out to the guys out there, love them to death, Jacob Turner and Andrew Jones. Andrew mentioned, and when he saw the film, he said, when we did a podcast when Gio committed way back when, he said that when we looked at the film, I looked at it and said, there are times that Gio does not look like a potential ACC quarterback. That was before we saw the season. He says, when I look at Billy Edwards, I see that. I can see a guy that clearly can play in a Power 4 conference. Confidence, that's another thing. This is his last season with us as well, or in college football as well there. But he has the ability to make passes down the field. Some beautifully placed footballs. If you go watch some of that Maryland film, it was amazing. So this guy sees the field and can definitely put the ball downfield some as well. Understands his reads, understands his checkdowns, and can see the field, and has done it in Maryland. Now think about it. Maryland 2024. I want to put this in perspective, guys. This is not the Maryland of ACC days. This is a Maryland team that plays against some of the best defenses in the country in the Big Ten, which the Big Ten has clearly been taking over the last couple of seasons, especially with teams like Indiana, Ohio State, of course, just to throw Oregon now being thrown in there, and teams like Washington, who's done really well. The Big Ten is a really good team. In that season, he put up almost 3,000 yards against, I'm going to read the entire schedule here. They played Indiana that year. They played UCLA, Michigan State, Illinois, who's a really good team, surprisingly, Rutgers, Nebraska, Washington. Then he would have been facing the Steve Belichick defense that carried Washington that season. He played Wisconsin, and then Townsend, Northern Illinois, and FAU as your non-cons there. He played against some good teams over there in the Big Ten, some good defenses, and was still able to do that and play at a very consistent level, I would say there. And he went to Wisconsin. Everybody talks about he went to Wisconsin and he didn't do anything, and now he's leaving. Guy got hurt, played. He had 16 throws this year, completed 7 of them. By the way, in that one season in Maryland, he had 9 interceptions that year as well, sacked 17 times. But again, bad offensive line, things of that nature. And Maryland's been a chippy team. Maryland's been a very chippy team over the last number of years there, that just to say the least. But stats aside, eye test guy. Jacob Turner mentioned at how there was there's a mic'd up video that he did that with Wisconsin during one of those practices. His dude's a likable guy. He's a leader. He gives off those leader qualities or leadership abilities. And we needed that because, quite frankly, at the quarterback spot, I don't think we had that last year at all. and or not to a great level, to put it that way. Because I mean, and I think we saw it in the very last game of the NC State game, is that people respected more Max Johnson than they did Gio. Proof in the pudding. Right, you're right. You just, you know, and everything else that went along with the quarterback position behind the scenes to begin with there. But Billy, in my opinion, why I like it, I'll say why I like it, because we're definitely going to hit the skeptical side, and you've already touched on it a little bit. Why I like this is two things. Bill and Bobby saw this guy and said, we want him. And not only that, they were aggressive about it. Evidently, even before the transfer portals opened, and a few weeks, they contacted him evidently fairly early, and more like the illegal window, if I'm hearing correctly. But in like the illegal window, like they're like, hey man, come on over here, Bo. We have some pork chops with us or something, you know. Just chill out with us a little bit. There are connections. There are connections there to Billy Edwards through a couple different players. I think his brother is the tight ends coach at Richmond, team we played this year. As a matter of fact, your first game with us at the Hill Brothers. They were there. Yes, it was the Richmond game. But Billy with Bobby Petrino, a guy that I don't care about his age or whatever the case may be, that people are still having conversations about. This guy's turned offenses around overnight. Literally. Arkansas, 105th to 17 in a matter of 6 months. Come on, man. Come on now. Let's talk about it a little bit. This guy has the ability. I mean, if he identifies a guy, I'm willing to bat for him. Screw it.
Well, and that's why I said that's why I said I'm skeptical, but I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I got to give Petrino the benefit of the doubt. I mean, if he's given his track record, who am I to say? I mean,
yeah, no, 100%.
And I've also heard there's a Renner connection with, and I don't know what it is, but I've read it that there's a Bryn Renner connection in there with Edwards. And
that wouldn't surprise me one bit. Quarterbacks, he deals with a lot of quarterbacks. There you go. You know, and a former UNC quarterback himself. So I mean, great. I mean, and quite frankly, I have at it, Captain. You know, so yeah, I'm a fan of this, but I think ultimately here's where I think this move is being made for a couple of different reasons, and I'd love to see what you think about this. Number one is the fact that obviously North Carolina needs a quarterback. Gio Lopez. I think it's safe to say that Bill understands, and also Bobby Petrino can clearly see Gio's just not the guy. But if he's going to be, he'll have to beat out this guy. And if he's able to actually beat this guy out and be in a Bobby Petrino offense, then here's the deal. Here's the deal with me. If Bobby Petrino comes in and Gio's still the quarterback, like he's the starting quarterback after going through this offseason, and now here's the thing. Once this transfer portal window closes, it does not open again. There will not be a second one.
Yeah.
I love that. We don't have that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm glad they made that change.
100%. So if he comes out of spring ball, comes out of fall ball, and he's starting in Ireland as the starting quarterback, by the way, against the TCU team that will not have Josh Hoover, who just signed with Indiana. So Kurt Cignetti again with another quarterback. This dude's animal. But yeah, he's freaking ridiculous. I love him to death. I really do. I'm in Indiana.
Side note, it's gotten a lot of publicity, but his facial expressions in that game the other day, oh my gosh, dude.
And he's happy. He's happy.
I love that guy.
He's so good.
I love that guy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but sure enough, if he beats him out, then I have to say, you know what? Gio must have done something. I gotta give him a shot. If Gio comes out as your starting QB against in Ireland, because quite frankly, I believe this Billy Edwards being 6'3", 228 pounds. Yeah, 228. A fifth-year guy, has been there. He's done that. I personally believe this is your starting QB. That's just me. Could be wrong here, but I believe he's your starting guy. or he's coming in. He's gonna give you a heck of a run in spring ball and fall ball against Gio. We'll see what it is.
Yeah.
And another thing with that, North Carolina this season with their schedule, and we've talked about the schedule, juggernaut of a schedule. If Billy Edwards can come in and give you a chance to go win ball games, and Carolina was able to rattle off a 6-win season with this schedule, get to a bowl game, the mojo flows back in Carolina's favor. But ultimately, here's why I think that is. North Carolina cannot, I don't think North Carolina can afford to have the same kind of season that they had last year. And obviously, Billy's not your long-term guy. But there is a guy who just walked into Chapel Hill who looks like he's going to be. And that man's name's Travis Burgess. And I ultimately think this is why they went out here and got him, a senior guy that can help them go win ball games this year to help you bridge to get to your guy.
A bridge. A bridge. Because Travis is coming off a season-ending injury his senior year of high school. So, you know.
And here's the thing. If Gio gets hurt, you got Autori Newkirk and Travis because Bryce is gone.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting, man. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I know there are so many people out there going, what are we doing? And, hitting the panic button on the quarterback room. And, I can see it because the numbers don't jump off the page. Things don't jump off the page at you. But again, look who the OC 100%. Is, a guy with a proven record of doing good things with what he has. So
I'm 100%. Here's another thing is, Carolina is in an interesting position. But here's another thing, and I got to give once again credit to Andrew Jones on this. Love that dude. Everybody wanted North Carolina, and obviously we all did. The second Byram Brown out of USF went into the portal, I'm get me that guy. But here's the thing: quarterbacks like Byram Brown, Sam Levitt, Josh Hoover, all these big name quarterbacks are the Sorensby from Cincinnati. All of those guys are going to command top dollar. Well, here's the problem with that. If with all the holes that you're getting ready to have to fill, thin linebacker room, an offensive line that you need to refill, skill positions that you're going to have to refill, guys that you need to prioritize like Leroy Jackson and Damon June, the guys that they've already re-signed, of course. Caleb Costet was just announced there as well. Potential on a Tyler Thompson return, we will see. I've heard there is some conversation of that happening, bringing that guy back. A Melkart Abujade, some of these guys, if you're able to re-sign,
I need to see.
Like it changes the game for us, and you have. I
gotta see a Melkart is re-signing. I got to see that. I can't. I mean, those are kind of things. Those are a couple of those things where some of the ability to keep some of those key people are things that we touched on with AJ in the state state game day live, if you remember.
Yeah.
And we talked about how a lot of those, some of these guys, especially these defensive guys that were key to our performance on defense this year, we had to lock down. Tyler Thompson being one of them. Which at this point we haven't now because he's in the portal. So we'll see if he comes back. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be key. We can't.
Yeah. So if
we can't afford to lose what we were solid with and still have to plug the holes we have to plug.
Right. Because here's the thing, man. I mean, Carolina, Bill and this team has to build. They have to build a team. Bill and the staff has to build a team. And now here's the thing: if you get a solid quarterback, like Billy looks like he could be a solid quarterback. I'm not saying he's out here the next Drake May, but he looks like the ability to be out there. Like, I don't think Billy Edwards is the guy to go out there and lose you games. Could be wrong. We'll find out here in a number of months.
That would be the key. Okay, be it, you're not gonna go set the world on fire, but just don't freaking lose us the game.
And here's the thing:
make the plays that are there for you to make.
Here's something that I want people to understand, because this got brought up in my mind just a little bit ago. I got to thinking, I'm like, here's the thing: quarterbacks all over the place, get moved from school to school to school to school to school. You see guys that are kind of like they go to different places all the time. And obviously with Billy, he's on his third team in 5 years. He went to Wisconsin last season under, was it Luke Fickell up there? I think they just fired him or something like that. But like the team was not good at all. And he was coming from a Maryland team that had started to nosedive. But he was going to Wisconsin originally because he thought, hey, maybe I can go there and help get me to the next level. Because that's what he wants to do. From all reports and words from him, he wants to get to the next level. Well, how do you do that? You go to a program that's going to help you. That's going to help you get there. He thought that was going to be Wisconsin, and it could have very well been. Unfortunately, he got hurt after only throwing 16 balls last year, right?
Yeah, man.
And now he comes to one place. You want to go to the NFL? Talk to Bill Belichick about that. Have a conversation with him. Talk to his staff, the former Patriots staff that it is half the time. Come here, and with what Bobby Petrino wants to do, who knows? We don't know what the offensive scheme is going to be like this year. We have an idea based off of what Bobby Petrino passed, but Bobby Petrino also understands that you got to build. Breaking news. Attention, breaking news. You have to build an actual... You have to build an offensive game plan around the people that you have, not the people you think you might want to have one day. You have to build them around what
people you wish you had, which is what we were doing last year.
Exactly.
This past season, apparently.
Here we go. It's ridiculous, right? So if he's able to come in and do that, and you're able to get a quarterback that understands how to play with a bad offensive line. He understands how to navigate that pocket, can continue to move the chains. You can combine that with a run game that now defenses have to respect everything that you do, because you can move the ball down the field, through the air, maybe stretch defenses sideline to sideline. Then you've got a little stud running back in Damon June who's just going to pound it right in front of you. Now you're talking about a team with a defense that was very good last year. I understand they had the picadillos, but for the most part, they were very good, and they were begging the offense, give us 3 points, give us a touchdown, just do that, and the game's over. We win.
Yeah. Yep.
You do that, then it's like, okay, we might have a chance to really do something here. Again, I'm not saying we're going to win a national championship, but there's quarterbacks, and like Chandler Morris last year, how many people knew the name Chandler Morris last year until he went to Virginia? Took him to the ACC championship game. You don't have to be world beaters. Trinidad Chambliss for Ole Miss right now. By the way, who's still in the college football playoffs without Lane Kiffin, which just warms my pea-picking heart. I'm not going to lie. I hope they win the whole thing just to shove it in his face. But Trinidad Chambliss, playing Division II football last season, is lighting it up right now with Ole Miss.
Yeah. Those are the things you point to. Those are the things that you can point to people that are quickly just dismissing it, to say, hey, they're there. It takes the right situation,
right,
with a player to get something like that. And that's it. I mean, it's just, you put them in the right situation, and again, Petrino knows his stuff. Petrino knows what he needs to run his offenses and what he wants to do. I can't doubt him. I mean, like I said, his track record is there and proves what he can do. So,
it's just like, Haynes King from Texas A&M to Georgia Tech. Look at what Georgia Tech's done for him. And Haynes King was,
he's been
a good dude, but that was it. And then he goes to Georgia Tech, and now they're friggin' wild out there. And all it takes all it takes is a quarterback out there that can play good enough with the right kind of a team around him. And if that team and that quarterback click, boom. Like last year with Syracuse and Steve Angeli before he got hurt. I mean, nobody knew the name Steve Angeli. Yeah, he was clicking on, and I really hate the dude got hurt. I do. But
well, hate anybody gets hurt, right? So
right. And you never know what can happen there. But I'm excited to see what this whole edition adds to it. Like I'm very curious to see, and I'm excited, and I'm curious to know what you guys think down there in the comments below about Billy Edwards Jr. Is he going to be a guy? Are you hopeful? Are you like super like I don't trust nothing until it happens? Tell us what you think down there in the comments box below, and also be sure and head over to K-Bar Soap over there. Get 15% off using the promo code HB15. It's awesome brand, man. I love them to death, and Chris does a really good job. All natural soap. You guys can get all that good stuff, all those good goodies, and it's a lot of fun out there. Love Chris to death, dude. But yeah, absolutely, man. Jeff, honor as always, brother. Hopping on here with you,
man. No, man. Yeah, it's always a fun time, man. Always a fun time. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you all for being here. And as always, go Heels.
Go Heels.